talk a little bit about communication. I know that relationships are built off of communication, right?
Yeah.
That's the foundation for every relationship. What are some of the challenges that you saw as an administrator or that you're seeing now that facilities are talking about relative to communication?
Yeah. So, I mean, just as my time being back as a social services director, you have to call families over everything. And there's a lot of, like, if they have a complaint or even something that's really exciting, you look forward to calling the family. But sometimes there's so much going on that it's hard to make those phone calls. But also families are busy. Families have their jobs that
hard
they're
to get
doing.
a hold of them, right?
Yeah.
When you need to talk to
Constant phone tag.
Right.
And it's difficult to get on the same page with people, especially if they are working. You leave a message, they call you back, you're talking to another family member. It's difficult to go back and forth. So I think that was the biggest challenge is just that phone tag of just going back and forth. But then as I was an administrator is when the COVID pandemic broke out. And that honestly was the biggest rock. Like you mentioned earlier, it really shook up our industry.
Yeah.
It was something that we had to really quickly adapt and change to. And notifying families was very hard. Anytime that anything changes, you have to notify all of the family members.
Yeah.
And so at the time thinking like, oh, I wish there was a way that we could notify families all at once. Little did I know there was something like this. But back during that time, it was just very hard to just reach out to family members all the time because then you're playing that phone tag back and forth.
Well, there's really two games, right? There's phone tag, which is really tough because you might be leaving a message. You're waiting for somebody to get back to you. You're hoping that they get back to you and then they can catch you at a time where you're available. Right. But then there's also the telephone game. And the telephone game, I mean, I'm sure you played this when you were a kid, right? Where you say something to somebody, they say something to somebody else, and then 6 or 7 lines of communication down the road, the message is totally different. And I think far too often we play that game in this space, right? Yeah.
So we actually got to a point where we would just update our website frequently, and then we would call families and let them know, hey, we've updated our website. We've had a change in our facility. And so that way we kind of eliminated that telephone game where the message could be changed. But at the beginning, absolutely. It was insane trying to keep everybody on the same page at all times because we would delegate people to make phone calls. So we would say, you call these 10 people, we call these 10 people, and then I would call my favorites, of course. But so it was hard because sometimes then the director may not understand exactly what I'm saying or whatever. So yeah, that was a constant struggle as well, just the message being changed.